Cavin Elizabeth, a wedding photographer based in San Diego, and today's topic is going to be a little bit interesting. So, I'm going to be talking about the 5 questions that blogs typically recommend that brides ask their photographers that do not matter. These are simply questions whose answers probably won't affect any of your decision. You might not even understand the answers to this. You're just asking because a website told you to. Well, I'm going to say first off, it's fine if you have a lot of questions. That's great. It shows you're interested, you're curious, you want to learn more and do your due diligence. But there are simply some questions that brides ask me, and I have to wonder, why are they asking that? I don't think that this answer is going to have any impact on their lives or their decisions whatsoever. They might not even know what I'm talking about. If you have been told to ask a question and you don't think the answer is relevant to you, don't ask it. I would rather you just have a conversation with me and us make sure we're a great fit for each other than you take time from your schedule asking me questions that don't actually matter to you. So I'm going to list the top 5 questions that I get that I think really should not have an impact on your decision, or things that I think don't matter. Now, the first question isn't really a bad question. It's fine, but I'll say don't give a lot of weight to the answer. And that is, have you shot at my venue before? Some places will tell you that it's crucial that the photographer has shot at your venue. That is not at all the case. I shoot all over the country, so a lot of times I'm going to venues I've never seen in person before. That does not mean that I'm going to do any less of a beautiful job for my clients. In fact, I think it's even better because I've never seen this space. I can be more creative. Now, a lot of times I'll go to venues and venues will say, oh, everybody shoots the first look here. Everybody shoots portraits on this bridge. And I say, great, show me the other places, because I don't want to do what everybody else does unless there's a really good reason to do that, because I want to give my clients a beautiful, unique experience. I don't need to have shot at a venue before to do that. I usually will go and scout the day before if it's a destination wedding, or I'll go by there at some point before the wedding, or I might just get there early on the wedding day and scout for 30 minutes before I have to be at the bride's getting ready room. So you can absolutely do a very quick walk through a place and be just as familiar as you would be with shooting a wedding. So while the answer could be something that's okay to ask, the answer, if they say, no, I haven't, don't not hire them just because of that. It really does not matter that much. I can create beautiful work at any venue, no matter if I've seen it before or not. It is not hard for me to take 5 minutes to scout and pick beautiful locations and get very familiar. So there's a lot of places that I've been to, whether for fun, to walk around. I've never shot a wedding at, but I know the place like the back of my hand. So maybe I haven't shot there, but that's not going to mean that you're not going to have beautiful photos. The next one is always very silly to me, unless the bride or groom knows about camera equipment, is asking, what kind of camera do you use? Do you know the difference between a Mark III and a Mark IV, or a 6D, or a Contax 645 versus a Pentax? If not, if that all sounds like gibberish to you, don't ask this question. Now, if you love the photographer's work, it should not matter what camera they use. If I saw somebody's portfolio and it was so beautiful and I found out they use an iPhone, I would hire them. Like, it doesn't matter what kind of camera you use, it's how you use it. And the same applies for any of you out there who want to get into photography. The camera does not matter nearly as much as the person behind it. So just don't waste time asking what kind of equipment a photographer uses if you don't even know what the answers they're saying mean. It has no significance. As long as you love their work, it doesn't matter what they shoot on. Now, I don't always get this next question, but it is one that always makes me a little bit cringy, because I find that people focus so much on more, and how much. And it's not about how many photos you get from your wedding photographer. It is about the quality of photos. So when people ask, how many photos do we get? I don't love that question, because first off, I will never guarantee a set amount of photos. Wedding days are so dynamic, and I also cull to make sure that I am sharing the best possible story. I would rather give a couple 500 beautiful, knock it out of the park photos than 1,000 photos with those beautiful ones and a bunch of okay photos mixed in. That's gonna water down the gallery. So focus on quality, not quantity. It doesn't matter how many you get as long as it tells the story of your day. So yeah, you can ask that, and that's a fine question to ask, But don't be worried if a photographer says, I deliver 600 and someone else delivers 2,000, because if that's an 8-hour day, if someone is delivering 2,000 photos to you, that might be incredibly overwhelming to look through and it might be really watered down. I think less is more. I would rather have fewer photos and better photos. One question that always really gets me is, how would you describe your style? And I think, well, did you look at my portfolio? My work speaks for itself. That's my style. I don't love to put words to my style because I want my images to really shine and I want couples to connect with that and not how I describe my work. And this is the question that I see so many websites asking, and I just wonder why. I did not ask my photographer what she describes her style as because I can see her style with my own eyes and I know that I love it and I know that it's right for me. So I just think this is a very weird question to ask because I don't know, why does it matter how they describe their style if you love it and you can see clearly how it looks? If somebody's asking me how I describe my style, I either immediately think they read this off of a blog or I think, did they look at my work enough? Have they actually looked at my portfolio? And I don't want somebody to hire me unless they have thoroughly checked out my work because I don't want there to be any surprises when they get their photos back. I want them to know exactly what kind of work they're getting, and that is the work that they see on my website and on my Instagram. It is very consistent and cohesive. So I wouldn't ask people what style they have. I would just look at their work and then talk to them and have a conversation, get to know them, have them get to know you. That's a much better way to figure out if you should hire somebody than asking them to describe their style verbally. This last question is something that raises kind of a red flag. I would say more of a pink flag. That's what I call something that's not a major issue, but it's a little bit of a concern. So it's a pink flag for me, and that is when somebody says, we have a shot list, can we just give it to you? And I'm not talking about a family photo list. That I do need and that I will ask for. But if you are wanting to give me a shot list of 100 staged photos, I will not do that simply because that is not going to be the work that you hired me for. So when somebody asks, can we just give you a shot list? To me, that says they either don't trust me to do the work that they want to hire me for, or they want to be a little bit too controlling. They don't want me to have that creative freedom that has me taking my best work. If I don't have creative freedom, I'm not producing the work that you see on my website that you hired me for. So if somebody says, can we do a shot list? I immediately will say, this is not something that I think is a good idea. I do not know why there are websites that put out these massive lists of must-have photos. A lot of them are things the photographer is going to get anyway. But if you are giving your photographer a shot list, let's say I said, yes, I will take this. What I'm going to be doing on the wedding day is reading from a list. I'm going to miss everything that's happening around me because I'm focusing on making sure that I'm getting all of these staged, fake, inauthentic, not candid at all photos. And I don't mean for this to sound harsh, but it is really not a good thing. It does you a huge disservice. Now, there are exceptions if you are choosing a photographer who is not a professional, they've never done a wedding in their entire life, it's a friend, it's a student, maybe they might need the help of a shot list for some things. But if you are hiring an experienced photographer, they by no means need a shot list. It will hurt you more than it will help you. When you see photos on Pinterest or online and you love it and you want to recreate it, know that those moments in those photos were probably real. Those were authentic, organic moments. And if you try to copy them, given that you are probably not an actor and comfortable faking and staging things and making them look natural, you are not going to love the photos. I promise you, you would so much rather have images that are completely one of a kind to your wedding that actually represent what happened on your wedding day. So please do not ask photographers if they can take a shot list from you. It's not the same thing as a family list again, and it's not the same thing if you have 1 or 2 must-have photos. I'm talking more about 10 plus photos that the photographer has to take and carry around on a list. It's not a good thing, so do not ask for that. And that's pretty much it. So those are my top questions on things that don't really matter or things you shouldn't ask or things that I see blogs suggesting that really aren't great ideas or good questions because they either don't matter to the couple or they're just really not relevant or they're not a good reason why you should or should not hire somebody. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. I know I was a little bit passionate in this video, but I don't think any question is necessarily a bad question. There are just some that I think don't need to be asked. I think there are better things that can be asked. Think about what actually matters to you. Ask those questions. Or you can ask your photographer, what should I ask you? I've had brides do that and it's really cute. And I say, well, here's what I would ask my photographer. And then I answer that for them. So you can do that. You don't have to go online and find a list. Those lists are often not very helpful. Sometimes they're not written by anybody whatsoever who is educated on the actual wedding world. They're written by interns who come and go or someone who's so out of touch. So while some of them might be helpful, others of them just simply are not important. And so I don't recommend asking them, but if you really want to, that's fine. I just don't think they're the best questions, but if you guys did enjoy this video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!